You know that feeling of trying and still not getting anywhere? Like, you're cutting expenses, you're doing it right, and somehow the person next to you, the richer one, pays less than you do for the same product, and you never really understood why. Let's talk about money? I'll tell you about a day that changed how I see poverty. I was at the grocery store, normal supermarket, normal neighborhood, and I realized I was doing a kind of math I thought I'd stop doing, adding everything up in my head, checking the price of every item like it was a test. Like, am I allowed to buy this? But that month, I had money. I was doing fine financially. And still, my body didn't believe it. So I ran a test. I called a friend of mine who grew up in a wealthy neighborhood, asked him how much he pays for milk. Same milk, same brand. He pays $3.50 for half a gallon. I pay $2.50 for a quart. Price per unit? Him equals $7 per gallon. Me equals $10 per gallon. I'm paying about 30% more for the same milk. And this is where it gets weird, because he's not paying less because he's smarter. He's paying less because he can buy more at once. Volume, scale. Money you don't need to spend immediately. Poor people spend $2.50 today because $2.50 today is all they have. Richer people spend $3.50 today because $3.50 for more volume is an investment, not a squeeze. The price is not the same. The system charges more from people who have less. Now multiply that. Milk, bread, rice, beans, oil, meat, everything you buy in small quantities because that's all you can afford at once. In lower income neighborhoods, everything costs about 20 to 25% more. In a month, that's $80 to $100 just in what I call a poverty tax. In a year, that's over $1,000.
It's invisible, it's legal, nobody calls it exploitation because that's the market, but it is exploitation. Then I started thinking about credit. A low-income person takes a personal loan at 25% APR. Credit card, 30%, 35%, sometimes 40% APR. A wealthy person gets a loan at 7 to 9%. Credit card at 15 to 18%. Same bank. Is one of them actually more risky? No. The risk isn't the same, but the pricing gap is way bigger than the real risk difference because poor people are afraid of not being able to pay, and the system knows it, so it charges. If you put $2,000 on a high-interest card, you might pay $2,800 after interest and fees. If a wealthy person puts the same $2,000 on their card, they might pay $2,400. For the same money, you paid $400 more, not because you're irresponsible, because the system applies discriminatory pricing. We don't call it discrimination, we call it a credit score. But there's something else nobody talks about: time. A poor person spends 2 hours a week hunting for the best price, 3 grocery stores, comparing lists, bus to bus, time that was supposed to be rest, time that could have been used to learn something new, time that could have gone into a side hustle. Instead, it's spent saving pennies. A wealthier person? They click a button. 30 minutes later, everything's at their door. Now let's do the math. Say that poorer person has a side hustle that pays $12 an hour. 2 hours a week price hunting equals $24 in lost income. Per month, about $100. Per year, over $1,200, just in time. And that doesn't even count the energy cost, because after 2 hours running store to store, you're tired. When you're tired, you don't study, you don't think creatively, you don't build anything better. So you get stuck in a loop. You spend time saving cents and have no energy left to earn dollars. Now here's a pattern I started noticing. Every time you earn a little more money, your basic costs go up, not because you're irresponsible, by design. A poor person gets a raise, rent goes up. Everything recalibrates because now you can afford it. You stay poor because the system adjusts in real time. You're always on a tightrope, always with 80–90% of your income already committed, not because you're not trying, but because there are forces you cannot control working against you, competing for every dollar you earn. And here's the part I find most unfair. Because you can't buy in bulk, can't get cheaper credit, can't save time, the wealthy person starts even further ahead. Mid-race, they already have more time than you, more money than you, less stress than you. They don't need to be twice as smart. They started winning. So when you're gasping for air and they're relaxed, that's not a discipline gap. That's a system gap. And this is when the anger finally makes sense. It's not frustration, it's clarity. You were blaming yourself. I'm bad at saving. My budget sucks. I'm weak with money. But the truth is, the system is charging a poverty fee, and you thought it was a personal failure. I tested this with a friend who's genuinely poor, extremely disciplined, perfect budget, cut even coffee. And I asked him, even spending less, do you still feel trapped? He said, yes, because every dollar I save is missing somewhere else. Nothing ever builds.
Discipline alone doesn't fix this, because poverty isn't a lack of discipline. It's a lack of escape velocity. You can't climb out of a hole when every dollar you use to jump loses $1.20 to the system. Now, this is where the story could get depressing, but I won't let it, because here's something I learned. You can't beat the system alone, but you can play the game better once you understand the rules. First thing, kids learn in school that saving is good. Nobody teaches what kind of saving, because putting money in an account earning 1% while inflation is running at 6 to 8%, you're losing money every month. That feeling of, I save but never move forward, it's because you're playing the wrong game. Second thing, buy in groups, not alone. 3 families buying together get bulk pricing. Split car costs by carpooling with people nearby. Share knowledge instead of paying for every course alone. You're flipping the logic. Instead of competing, you're cooperating. And suddenly, the system loses some of its power over you. Third thing, and this one matters most, stop being ashamed. Because money flows better in communities that know where it's going. Poor people always want to look fine. I'm good, all set, I don't need help. Meanwhile, rich people talk openly with other rich people. They share contacts, they share strategies. Poor people stay isolated with the problem. I know people who escaped poverty not by earning more, but by stopping being alone with it. They found others in the same situation, shared strategies. Strategy became support, support became change. Now let's go back to the beginning. That feeling of, I'm trying but it's not working, it's not you.
The system was not designed for your success. It was designed for your cycle. The bigger your cycle, the more money leaks out of it. You pay in prices, you pay in interest, you pay in time, you pay in mental health. It's a system, not a personal failure. So here's the real question. If you know the system charges a poverty tax and you know understanding the rules helps, what do? You do what wealthy people do. You learn, not alone, with people who already realize the game is unfair and are learning to play it better anyway. Because everything I figured out, someone figured it out before me. Someone who earned less than you knows something you don't yet. And that knowledge, it's worth way more than cheap milk. That's why people subscribe here, not for empty motivation, but to understand how the game actually works, to stop blaming themselves, to see that if you're struggling, it's because the system was built that way. And knowing that changes things. So if you're watching this and felt that tightness in your chest, that calm anger, that clarity of, oh, that's it. If you want to stop fighting alone, if you want to learn from people who already see the pattern, if you want to be in a place where nobody pretends the answer is just skip coffee, subscribe. Not because it helps the channel, because it helps you. Because you deserve to learn in a place that respects your intelligence, respects your struggle, and doesn't blame you for a system that was never neutral.